Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another discussion video. In today's video, not the merriest of topics, not the cheeriest of topics. Today we're talking about the Dragon Ball Super celebrations for the new competitive season and kind of where they're going wrong. Now, I think if you've watched my videos for any decent amount of time now, you probably know that I'm pretty happy with Bandai as a company. I think they do a great job for the Dragon Ball Super card game. I really don't have too many complaints. I mean, I love how they're vocal with the community. I love how they take deep attention to the tournament scene. I love how they take pretty good attention to problematic cards. Of course, a few things I feel like they miss here and there, but you know, it's their game. They feel like they're doing the best for it, and I generally agree with them. The one thing though, I do feel like I have to be fair. I do feel like I have to be critical of them when I don't think something is, you know, as good as it can be, just because I feel like it's how I stay fair, it's how I stay legitimate. I can't just praise them all the time and never talk about things that I feel like need to be talked about in a, I guess, a more negative light. You know, if these things don't ever get talked about, how do they get improved? How do they get changed? So today we're going to talk about the Dragon Ball Super celebrations and kind of my opinions on them. Of course, guys, as you watch this video, make sure to leave your comments down below. Maybe I'm wrong about something, maybe you disagree, let me know. But before we get into the discussion, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell to never miss a video. I cover Dragon Ball Super 5 days a week. With that being said, if you want to get involved in the Dragon Ball Super community, make sure to check out the Discord in the description below. Finally, guys, 3 ways you can directly help the channel out if you're a longtime fan. Number 1, the Patreon down below, $1 a month, you get tons of competitive content. Number 2, the YouTube channel memberships down below. And number 3, make sure to use my link to TCG Player or Bearded Collectibles for all your Dragon Ball Super card game needs. With that being said, let's get into this discussion. So, if you guys were playing this game during the last competitive season, you guys probably know what the last Dragon Ball Super celebrations were. They were these big, grandiose, excellent, incredible events. Now, I have the homepage pulled up here for the Dragon Ball Super card game website. It says the event is over. Thank you for your attendance. This is just the way they have it on the site now that the event is over. They do have details of the event. They're kind of blurred out just for whatever reason they made this on the website like this. So bear with me. But we're going to talk about this event first, because it's the gold standard to what celebrations were. And you know, I'll get into it first. So basically the celebrations were these big events. They had them, I think, in like 4 or 5 different states in the US, and then I think they had a few over in other countries. And there were these ginormous events, like regional size, even larger than regional size in some cases, and they were free. They were these free events to the public, just, you know, as the name suggests, a way to celebrate Dragon Ball Super. At this point, the game had been over a year old. It was really cool. It was really, really cool. Now, the fact that they were huge, big events for free, awesome. Is that a sustainable business model? Almost definitely not. You know, people, this is one of the misconceptions people do have with Bandai. You know, it's not the entire multi-million-dollar company that is running the Dragon Ball Super card game. The division that runs the game is a part of Bandai, but they don't have the, you know, near unlimited funds that the entirety of Bandai has. You know, the card game section has, you know, a set budget to work with. I believe they split that with the Chrono Clash game as well. So, you know, you're splitting hairs there as well. Just keep that in mind that, you know, these guys that do this game for us, you know, especially Yoshido and the guys that work on the game for us, they don't have the unlimited funds. It's not all of Bandai. They're working what they have, and, you know, trust me, they probably do have a lot, but I just want you guys to have a little bit of perspective when it comes to, you know, critiquing this and talking about them and about their company. So with that being said, we had these huge ginormous events, and we'll kind of read a little bit of what they had. So they gave out these neat little deck boxes, these neat Goku sleeves that were exclusive to the events. They had them in Orlando, Charlotte, Chicago. I was at Chicago, San Diego as well. Those were just the United States venues that they had them at. So they had team events the first day, and then they had the singles event the following day. And basically the important thing is talking about the prizing. So as I look at the prizing, you know, prizing isn't going to be the like key factor of this video, but it is pretty important to look at just for what I want to talk about. So, you know, look at all this stuff. I don't have to read it all off. There's tons and tons of prizes that they gave out for this free event. And again, not a sustainable business model, but we'll get into this later. So first place, we'll just look at first place. Each member of the winning team got an invite to nationals. You got the new Broly packs, and they're anywhere from $20 to $30 a piece. You got all this other cool stuff. You got 33 boxes of set 6, so 11 for each player. These were, and you got official team shirts and like giant cards. This was an awesome event. This was like a truly legitimate way to celebrate the year of Dragon Ball Super. Then if you go to the singles tournament, Same idea, you know, the participation stuff was pretty cool. You got the deck separators, which was like kind of a neat thing. You got top 50% prizing. You got 17th, 32nd. And again, if we go just to first place, and you know, second and third place were also greatly taken care of as well. But again, you got the $175 money voucher. You got the 11 boxes of set 6. You got tons and tons of cool stuff that you'll see down here. Now, what else did they do? They had the demo play, which is pretty cool. You got the demo deck, you got the sleeves, you got a Broly pack, and again, free as well. So this is a great way to introduce new players. One of the ways they advertised this event was bring your friends and come on down, because it was free. You know, besides travel costs, and especially if you were local to that area, the travel costs are probably not significant. Besides travel costs, any player who wanted to get into Dragon Ball could do so for free. I mean, you just get a free demo deck, you do an event like this. They also had like the Battle of the Gods, which is pretty cool. So they had like a lot of highly known players like Jordan Markle, some guys from my team, things like that, you know, playing against people just all day long. And they just had some really dope events, celebrations, very fond memories, in my opinion. Now, I'll say it again for I think the third time now. Not a sustainable business model. They're not going to be able to do this every single year. You can't just throw these ginormous events, because you have to consider, you know, the event halls and the staffing and all this stuff that, you know, if you're making no money back on the tournament, you know, the thing about tournaments is you are supposed to run them at a neg to the person who runs it, to the TO. Of course, Bandai usually isn't the TO. It's either ARG or PPG or Core TCG, whatever the case is. But you run the tournament at a neg, at least from my understanding. You know, I don't really do this thing behind the scenes, but you run it at a loss so that you can promote and advertise the game. If you have a very happy player experience, very positive player experience, that's going to cause general promotion of your game. People are going to get their friends involved. People are going to get other people involved. And that's kind of how it goes. So now I want to talk about this season's iteration of celebrations, which I think are not being ran in the best way they possibly could be. So we'll check out the Bandai page for the new celebrations. Celebration events are back, and this time your local friendly game stores are the hosts of the epic Dragon Ball Super card game events. Players can choose to play in a variety of events across the celebration event period, which will run from December 2019 to February 2020 in local hobby stores worldwide. So first things first, I think the idea of bringing celebrations to card stores is awesome. I think Bandai has been trying to do things that reinvigorate the local game store, which I, for one, you know, a longtime player of card games and, you know, a true, I guess you can say, I don't know, old school card player maybe. I love the idea of local game store. I never want like this game to primarily move to like a digital surface, a digital platform. I would love for TCGs in their physical form to stay alive as long as possible. And I think Bandai has tried to do some really great things to reinvigorate the local game store. But the problem kind of dips in as we get lower into this thing. So special prizes for the store celebrations include blasts from the game's past, with store celebrations offering power booster packs from 4 participation prizes. Each power booster pack contains 3 cards featuring all new foil versions of all the previous power booster packs, right? So this is a really cool prize pool, and then this is something that a lot of people have been saying. Again, I think I am highlighting the positive things about this, but one of the things people have said is, you know, don't make promos super duper hard to get if they're going to be core to certain decks. I'll make things like, you know, alternate arts or foil versions the harder to get promos, because as long as you can play the card and have access to the card, that's fair enough. If you want to bling it out, if you want to play a foil version, you should probably have to pay for that. Now, does it help that these foil versions are of promo cards, that some of which are hard to get? Not too much. I don't think anything from the World Tournament Power Booster is too crazy priced. Like, I think Mutaito is the only thing that's still above like maybe $15. That's off the top of my head, but regardless, now we go down a little bit. So we have demo days. This is really cool. You know, get players in the store, but I think, and this is one of the problems that we have with Bandai, because they are, you know, majority overseas, sometimes they don't see these things. And as far as I know, the hobby shop scene in Japan is incredible. Like, it's a place where people just want to hang out all day. In the United States, it's a little bit different. I mean, I think we should have a different culture around it. We don't necessarily have the best support for hobby stores. Sometimes hobby stores aren't run the best ways themselves. It's more so people that want to get into the hobby and, you know, host a place for it, rather than business folk who sometimes have the best vision for these hobby stores. So I think what Bandai is kind of missing here is that we don't need to like convert people in the hobby stores to play Dragon Ball Super from other card games. I mean, that would be nice, but I think what they're missing is that we just need more people in hobby stores in general. Now, I did mention before that this is, you know, a small conglomerate of Bandai, small-ish, but, you know, what I think they could be doing is advertising to Dragon Ball fans in general, getting them more aware of the Dragon Ball Super card game itself. I think that would help people get into the hobby store. Because if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Super, and maybe you played Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid, maybe you played Pokemon as a kid, but maybe you put them away once you got of a certain age. If you heard about the Dragon Ball Super card game, like I know a lot of people in this community, they're in their late 20s, early 30s, never played a TCG before, but they wanted to get involved in the Dragon Ball Super card game. So I think if they could get in the faces of more Dragon Ball fans, get them to know about Dragon Ball Super card game, then the celebrations will be a good event for that. But as far as I've seen, I haven't seen too much promotion in that sense. Starter battles, again, pretty cool. I do like the prizing they're giving out. Event Pack 5 is also very nice, and it's also cool that they're not overdoing Event Pack 5. They're getting the alternate foils out to people in these events. That's pretty cool. But now my biggest problem, guys, is here with the sealed 3v3 team battles. So as far as the website describes, it's very, very undescriptive, so we don't know exactly what's going on here. So all the action and fun of Team Wars take place at local game stores. Sealed events allow experienced players to mentor new players, training them to power up their play. So again, I mean, where are the new players coming from? We need that advertisement. The Facebook group, the YouTubers, we do the best we can to try and get the game out there. That's really what a lot of our goals are, but we can only do so much, and Bandai, I think, could help a lot more with that. And I don't necessarily know if they're aware of that, or just that's why I can make this video. It's almost like a product review, but instead of a product, it's the way they're running the tournaments, trying to get them a little more informed, at least in the way of my opinion. So these team tournaments only support 4 teams, which is 12 players. Now that's really, really small. That's a really, really small prize pool and a really, really small aggregate for the number of players you want at these things. Now, I understand that game stores are only of certain sizes, and in the past they've had local tournaments, like Bandai has hosted local tournaments where you could set a player cap, 16, 32, 50 something, whatever the case is. They allow the store to set their own precedents for how many teams they want to host, how many players they want to host. For some reason, they didn't do that here, and I think that was a mistake. Because, for example, I'm going to a 3v3 on Saturday at a local game store, and it really sucks that it's only 4 teams capped, because there's 8 people worth of teams that are interested in playing. Now, I think that local game store is going to take it into their own hands and kind of figure out a way to accommodate all the teams, which is great. But the problem is, the amount of prizing Bandai is supplying for this is not going to cover that. So, the store is going to have to somehow provide other prizing if they're going to take on more teams, whatever the case is. And the other problem with this too is it says sealed 3v3. The point is they're making these stores buy old product, and that's always been a problem with these store events that Bandai runs. They make these stores buy old product, and that makes the stores not want to participate, because what happens is, they do have product that's already sitting on the shelves. They don't want to buy more product that they're not going to be able to move. You're forcing them to, you're giving them a tournament, which is really cool, and you're trying to reinvigorate the local scene, but you're making them spend more to get more of the product, so you're not allowing them to reap the benefits of these tournaments, if you know what I mean. They're spending more, not being able to collect more, which I think is the problem of how they're running these events. They should have just made it a constructed 3v3. They should have supplied more prizing so that these stores can get more people in the door. They should have allowed the stores to tell you how many people they wanted to play at their store, how many people they could host at their store. These are some of the things where I just feel like Bandai kind of went wrong. But again, I want to reiterate, I do love the fact that I think Bandai is really trying to reinvigorate the local game store. I do think that is one of the high priorities we should all have as people who care about this community. I think that's very, very important. I just think they're going about it in a little bit of a wrong way. But guys, of course, this is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. Are you going to a celebration event? Are you excited about it? Do you wish things were different? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.